shifting over from NA, a glorious region with no finals appearances at Worlds, to a region with 2 back-to-back finals appearances, the LEC, the European champions, G2 coming in hot, 2-0 per usual. Which team surprised you or impressed you the most in week 1 of LEC?
Mad Lions.
Why?
I really like Mad Lions. I think that they had a really good approach to some of the holes that G2 have in their early game. In that first game, obviously everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, sure, Emily, they did well early and then they ran it down. Yeah. I think you're going to see that on a young team where they're still learning how to play with each other and also learning stuff, again, like mid-game transitions, and like G2's mid-game is one of the best in the world, honestly. So when it got to mid-game, Mad Lions were very visibly outclassed. However, I think this is a really interesting team to watch. I'm so glad. Thank you, Frost Urin, for on our pre-show pointing out that I should be watching Shadow, because I definitely think he is one of the strongest rookies to emerge out of this past weekend. Over in the LEC is definitely someone I'm going to be watching going forward, and I really enjoyed watching Mad Lions play this past week. I still think, obviously, like, I'm not going out with an overreaction and saying, like, they're definitely one of the best teams in LEC, blah, 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 but, like, when you look at this team, you look at the talent on this team, you look at how they came out week 1, there's, like, only up to go from there, and I think if they can get it to click and if they learn, again, like, a stronger mid-game without ceding so many advantages, again, the G2 game, they went up against one of the best mid-game teams in the world and one of the best teams in the world, probably.
Caps is on fire. Caps AD.
So
came up well.
I think Mad Lions was definitely the team that I was most impressed by in terms of like my expectations. Now I know you're gonna want to talk about Rogue because you were like all on the Rogue hype train from Scrimbucks, and they came out and they performed really well.
I mean, I think Han Sama looked so good. He looked kind of like, when I'm talking about rejuvenation with Santorin and how like this FlyQuest team and their identity can like lift him back up after a few years of like mediocrity and like he being a good but not great player. I think the same thing can be said about Han Sama, where Han Sama was on the Misfits team that was kind of overdue to get a change. It wasn't working. Now on a young team with a lot of players who don't really know how it feels to like lose, because they came in as rookies and they just played really well from the start, beat Splice, now Mad Lions, in the playoffs, and these guys are just kind of fearless, right? And then you bring in Han Sama, and I think it just kind of rejuvenates his spirit to play, and he looked really, really good week 1. Finn, my boy, looking really strong. Finn.
I was gonna say Finn and Larson. I think are the two that I really want to watch on this team. Like, no offense to Hansama, I'm glad that like he is looking like he can have a resurgence. But I really, really think that Finn and Larson are two
Larson was
solo
always
laners that I
hyped up.
wanna
Larson,
watch.
since he was when he was announced to Rogue, it was like, okay, when is he coming in to start? Finn was the big surprise. Like, he had some like expectations like from the regional leagues, but he's been so good. He kind of like stole the starting spot last split, and he's kind of asserted himself as one of the up and coming players in the top lane. But coming off, when we're talking about top lanes, I think the other team we have to talk about is Origin and Alfari, who kind of, I think this is the split where Alfari is just kind of like, Soaz is gone. This is my time to kind of just be like, I am the top laner of your Vichachachi's retired. Like, I really do think this is a split where
Alfari's year.
I think this is Alfari's year, where Alfari's always kind of been that other. He's always been the on like, it's always been a star player, and Alfari. It's always been Alfari is really good. He's really, really good. He's never that star player. I think on the current Origin team, I know you have Upset, I know you have Nuke Duck, I know you have Xerxes, but I think this is the year where Alfari kind of takes that step from really good player to superstar player, and we saw that in week 1, and I think that this is the player that everyone's always thought Alfari could be, and he is a titan. He's like 6'6". He's built now. He went to the gym. He's looking fierce, and it shows. On the Rift, he looks incredible. So Alfari is my pick for like, if I had to pick like early MVP result, like if I'm like, who's gonna be MVP in an LEC, I think Alfari is a good pick from not G2. But yeah, Origin, really impressive. Destiny looked good. I'm actually happy that another Oceania player. There's a lot of Oceania players in the LCS and Academy, and he looked good in his debut. So
Origin Rogue this coming week. That's going to be pretty high.
Rogue, Mad Lions. Who was the team that disappointed you the most? To end this things off, which team brought you down?
Who do you think it's going to be?
Is it a team with a lot of personality?
I guess it has a lot of personality.
Fnatic?
Fnatic.
Yeah. Mithy's debut. A team with self-made, reckless, Buppo, a lot of personality on that team. And, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't reviewed their games as closely, so I will say that I just kind of, when I go for like analysis, I like to just kind of watch the game and soak it in and then go back and do like a pathing spreadsheet or something on it. So I haven't had a chance to do that for Fnatic, so I apologize because my analysis on them isn't going to be as good. But yeah, they are, for the talent that is on this lineup and for the history that Fnatic has, and for, honestly, like, I don't think this is a bad reflection on Mithy as coach, because I still think he can be a phenomenal coach. Like, it's week one. But to see Fnatic come out in week one and have as disappointing of showings as they did, I think is not great, given the fact that I think based on what we saw from Origin, based on what we saw from Rogue, based on even, like, I brought up Mad Lions in terms of like growth potential, right? Like if they do manage to figure things out really quickly, they're also going to be contending for one of those top spots, in my opinion. So maybe that is an overreaction. But I think that in Europe, where it's looking like you have like a good, 3 to 5 teams that are all going to be contending for the top spot. Obviously, G2 I think is still undisputed best team in Europe, but when you have so many strong teams, Fnatic coming out and having the weekend that they had is not great for morale, I'll say. And something that Fnatic brought up last year is that they did have some, and obviously this doesn't have to transfer to this year, right? But in terms of when they were talking about what went wrong last year, what kept them from performing at like their top or like maximum potential, they did say that they had some internal like morale issues. So I hope those haven't carried over into this year.
Thank you, Emily. This Monday night, me and her going on a plane, missing the Super Bowl. Gonna be live Monday for Rift Rewind. Fly, Dignitas, TSM, CLG. Can TSM finally get a win this weekend? We will find out. Rift Rewind, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere ESPN Esports is. We will be there live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Rift Rewind, do not miss it this Monday night. We will be there, and you better be there too.